the other day with a new person that came into the clinic after an accident, having a little bit of back pain, which is very typical. But it's an older gentleman, never really had back pain before, and what he said to me was, "Yeah, everywhere else on your body, if it gets hurt, it's going to be okay. But you hurt your back, and that's permanent, man." And it's unfortunate that there's so many people out there that still believe that back injuries to the back. I mean, so a lot of people, they get it all confused with what that actually means, and many people, when they think of a back injury, they think that there's some sort of permanent damage to a nerve or the spine or something like that. Um, and over 90% of back pain is non-specific is what they call it, non-pathologic. Um, and it will resolve, self-limiting is going to resolve even if you don't do anything, more than likely. Where people get into trouble and why we see this persistence of that myth that back pain um, can linger, permanently or something to that effect, is, in my experience, is that most of the time, depending on, well, not, yeah, most of the people I've worked with over the years, and a lot of people in general, when they have had something happen to their back that causes them pain or discomfort or some other kind of symptoms, they end up um, drastically reducing their activity levels and removing uh, anything from their daily life that they feel like may be injurious, maybe further injurious, may cause. Because that's the biggest question people have when they come after an accident or any sort of bout of back pain is, one of the big questions that they always have is, if I do X, is that just going to make it worse? And that's really not how the system operates. It's not like they've created some sort of, they've had some sort of injury, let's say, to muscle strain in the area. And what doesn't happen is, it's not like some like rat chewing on a wire, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse until it splits in half down the road. That's just not how what happens. Um, so we have to. So what you end up seeing a lot of times, that you see these correlative problems because people have these beliefs that their their back injury is permanent, or that they have to avoid all sorts of things after they've had some sort of bout of back pain or discomfort. And what you end up seeing, in research a lot of times is they start pointing at things that correlate with chronic low back pain. And a lot of the times, the or one of the main ones that kind of keeps popping up more recently is like fatty infiltration of some of the smaller musculature around the spine, the paraspinal muscles and things like that. And you can you have to think about that more in regards to what happens to the person, what decisions do they make, what information were they given by whoever they talked to about their back pain originally. And what you'll typically see is a person going into fear avoidance or avoidance behaviors, a lot of fear, a lot of catastrophizing. So they remove a lot of activity in their day and if they were an exerciser, remove a lot of different parts of their training that were actually probably keeping them from having some sort of issue, but now they have this perception that if they return to that, they're just going to continue to make themselves worse when that's not really the case. So what you end up seeing is people that become detrained and deconditioned over time because either they've decided that they're afraid to further hurt themselves, or someone of professional status that they respect their opinion told them that they need to quit doing certain things because they will just hurt themselves further. So that leads to that, those long periods of detrain and deconditioning, where you start to see the development of, probably, likely, I've not seen this hashed out, but that's likely what leads to those findings that they see on these MRIs about fatty infiltration of those paraspinal musculatures is more in the chronically painful low back. It has nothing to do with, has more to do with the person probably quit doing stuff and allowed their muscles to detrain than has anything to do does the reverse, if that makes sense. So you can't help everyone, and depending on the status of the person that you see in the beginning, I see a wide population of folks, because we only deal in accident work. But the people that get better the fastest, the people that get better the fastest, and the people that have the best outcomes in the long term, the people that get back to their normal stuff as quick as they can because they're busy and they have things to do. And the people that I reassure that they can continue to do the things that they enjoy at the gym, start at tolerable levels, work your way back slowly into the things that you were doing, and nothing's really off the table. Having back pain isn't a contraindication for anything. It's just you maybe have to reduce some of your movements, some of your frequency of movements, some of your volume and intensity of movements for a bit while your body reduces sensitivity. But to sit there and think that having a bout of back pain permanently restricts you from vacuuming your house is silliness. So with that said, I just wanted to get people to know that back injuries they all heal. The rates are different depending on what's going on. Like spinal cord severing may never heal. They're always working towards that, but your disc injuries, herniations, bulges, muscle strains, ligament sprains, all those things heal. So you just have to understand that the time might be longer than you want, and to carry on and to do as much as you can that you can tolerate, and don't let yourself get detrained and deconditioned, because that's when we start to see those chronic situations develop. Hope that helps. Check out my channel for more stuff, and see you next time.